When any individual asks another person which position from the sport baseball they think is the coolest, the majority of the people states that it's either the pitcher or the catcher. Thus, initially, even a beginner would only like to learn how to pitch and how to catch a pitcher's throw. In my part of the presentation, however, I will gladly introduce a different position from the familiar roles we know as a pitcher and catcher and show the beginners the real spotlight stealers of the game, which are the outfielders. They are the heroes who are able to catch any balls hit all the way to the back of the field, essentially saving the team from giving out any more runs. Rather than admiring the catcher and the overrated pitchers, outfielders are the true saviors of the game, so why not train to be one? Here's a helpful guide to show you beginners what it takes to be a proper outfielder and make those awesome plays no one else can make. A pitcher stands on a boring mound, not physically fit at all, so be an outfielder who can make the fans cheer loudly as you slide and run to catch those balls, determining batter out.
Yes, that may be true. When people think of baseball, they would most likely think of pitchers, but it is by good reasons. It is the certain skills that a pitcher holds that are wowed by viewers. Pitching skills are not praised for no reason. They are in the spotlight not just because they're located at the center of the field. Pitchers earn their praises. It's how they manage to play such a challenging and crucial movement that can sometimes affect the team's victory that makes them awesome. Their skills are very well dignified because it is not something you can achieve just like that. It takes a lot of patience, and if you're one of those people who tries and fails but tries again, you're one step closer to being one. I'd say the pitcher is one of the most important position in baseball because every play starts with the pitcher and the pitcher controls the pace of the game. It is also one of the challenging positions because not only do they need efficient physical skills, they also need mental concentrations, which are very hard to do. Oh, and wait, who said they were overrated? If pitchers are so-called overrated, that's just because no one's good enough to take their spot.
But hey, where's the line what I said? Pitchers are overrated. If we're talking about skills that should be praised, you definitely can't leave the awesome plays outfielders execute, no matter how high the risk may be. And if you want to truly be the savior of the game, just follow my guide on how does it take to be an outfielder. First, let's get down to the basic information. What important assets do the outfielders have to offer exactly to the game? Well, when the pitcher can pitch properly and the opponent batter hits the ball beyond the infield and towards the scoreboard, this is the moment for the outfielders to shine. The preparatory phase. You begin with the ready position where the outfielders await for the ball to be pitched and hit by the opponent batter. By doing so, with feet shoulder width apart, face the area near home plate where the pitcher and batter battle it out. Your hands should hang low between your thighs and position the glove wide open. From this position, you're alert to getting a stable and good jump for the ball or moving quickly to the direction of where the ball is hit. Initially, you're using your abdominal muscles, such as the external obliques and rectus abdominis, to support your spine and maintain your center of gravity at a low position. The execution phase. For an overhead fly ball, executing this performance requires advanced visual imagery. First, you must look at the ball and create a visual image in your head of how high and how far do you think the ball is going. A great technique to do this is to crouch down at a low position and judge the ball by its velocity and angle. If the ball continues to rise towards you, it is likely that the ball will go over your head, compared to when a ball is sinking its way towards you, giving you the impression that it will drop a few meters in front. In this case, if the ball goes over your head, instead of jumping and reaching it to make a risky play or an awkward catch, as well as backstepping, knowing that you can trip on your own 2 feet, the better solution would be to break eye contact with the ball and run to the back so you can get behind it. Getting behind the ball allows you to catch the ball easier and even prepare you to connect faster with the following play of throwing the ball back quickly to the infielders if there are still runners on base. Since outfielders have to sprint frequently, they require an immense amount of force and tense contractions from the muscles that runs from their hips, knees, and ankles. These muscles are consisted of the gluteus maximus, the hamstrings, the quadriceps, and the calves, allowing you to squat and stand up straight repeatedly. The follow through. The ball back to the infielders by performing the crow hop. As they do the crow hop, they swing fast and accurately. Triceps brachii, deltoid, and rotator cuffs all help with the circumduction motion of the throwing arm. The rhomboids and trapezius muscles allow for a full range of motion when swinging, while the latissimus dorsi muscle spans the side of the back, which extends the rotation of the arm.
Since Juvian's talking about the faces of the outfielders, now it's my turn to share my part of the bargain. First of all, what a beginner needs to go around thinking is that aiming is one of the essential skills to have. You have to make the calculations of where the ball is going to be missed, which style of throw is going to be needed. A pitcher's job is to mainly keep the batter from guessing where the ball is going to land. If the pitcher successfully made one batter miss the ball, then you have done your job perfectly. Assuming that you're a beginner, let's start small and learn the basics. The first stage is the wind-up. You start by standing on the rubber. For left-handers, stand on the left side, and right-handers start on the right side, just to make sure that we are on the right angle to start, because if we start straight up, it'll be harder to do the pivot. While you're on the ready position, you will start the pivot as I mentioned earlier. Pivot is important because it will create the momentum that will provide strong velocity for the ball. The pivot contains lifting the legs high up in the waist. You want to make sure that your back is slightly bent to get the balance needed to lift the leg. Cocking phase. It is a phase where you're in a ready position to throwing the ball. Therefore, you are in a stride and both knees are flexed to gather the right center of gravity for stability. Your deltoid muscles, which are your shoulders at the throwing hand, is active, and a high torque movement within the pelvis is done as an aid to throw the ball efficiently to the wanted direction. Muscles used in this specific position should be the supraspinatus, infraspinatus, and teres minor. The next phase would be phase 4 is the acceleration, which rotates the ball to a release point. Active muscles would be the triceps, pectoralis major, lats, and serratus anterior. You can see here that the biomechanical principle number 2 is perfectly showed in this position because every joints are utilized with extreme force to increase velocity. The second last phase is the deceleration phase, which basically means to slow down. This is when the ball is released from your hand. The center of gravity will move over your plantar foot and muscle contraction occurs in the supraspinatus to decelerate internal rotation. Muscles are required to slow down at this point. Take note, this is a crucial movement because this is a phase prone to injuries, especially located in the deltoid muscle because of high stress. And finally, the last phase, which is the follow-through, is where body comes back from the relaxing phase. It occurs when the support leg moves forward and contracts the ground to stop forward body motion. The body must now dissipate the energy that has been developed to accelerate the ball. Flexing the trunk, flexing the support knee, and allowing the arm to continue along its path of movement across the body all assist in dissipating this energy and reducing distraction forces on the shoulder.
Aren't pitchers under more stress than any other positions? Would you really want to submit yourself in a burdensome position?
Stress is unavoidable for any position in the field. We already know how heavy mental concentrations need to be, so no doubt stress can come from there. However, stress can be prevented as long as they follow the right nutritions. The following information will be dedicated not only for pitchers but in all positions of baseball. Being under the sun is exhausting and can lead to dehydration, so consuming plenty of fluids will help them rehydrate. Recommended intakes would be to drink 2 cups of fluids 2 hours before a game or practice, Drink 6 to 8 ounces of fluid every 15 to 20 minutes during games and practice, and 24 ounces for every pound lost during a game or practice. Best fluids for pitchers is, of course, none other than water, but there are alternative sport drinks. Worst drinks would be carbonated drinks or fruit juice, which contains lots of sugar. During the course of the game, since carbs is the primary source for baseball, each meal and snack would include food such as rice, pasta, or bread, etc. Proteins and fats are not really used by the body during games, so you don't have to take large quantities. In addition, pre-game should be lower in fat, since high-fat food stay in the stomach longer and may cause an upset stomach. For after the game, since many baseball games end late, the stomach is crying out for food. You really eat whatever you want as a reward, but preferably proteins to recover any damaged muscle tissues. But keep in mind the quantities you put in your stomach or you will regret it the next day. To conclude, eating the right way is essential, so try and make schedules and plans to be prepared. Follow it and earn great benefits in games. How about outfielders? Aren't they easily injured?
Injuries cannot be avoided, especially when you're running back and forth continuously around the field, and diving, which are activities that can give you burns around your arms and hands, or even hit your head. However, many of the outfielders' dive can be executed safely. First, dive with both your arms out so you don't have to push with only one, where you can break an arm once you land since your weight will be on top of it, as it will essentially protect your shoulders. These situations can be avoided with proper stances and training. Even if outfielders crash onto the wall and bleachers, the majority know how to correctly land and actually avoid them. The short break of the eye contact with the ball allows you to get a good glimpse of your surroundings so you are aware of any obstacles that will harm you or other people.
As you can see, there are similar and distinct skills you have to learn in order to be good at each positions. Whatever the case may be, it is up to you all beginners which position you're good or think you're good at, or if you don't know, why not try both positions to scale which skills you have more that are fitted to either a pitcher or an outfielder.